you a specific date.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so she's asking, thank you so much. All right, so there's a request for early termination on your case. I'm not inclined to give you early termination. I mean, what you did was awful. And there's a concern with you working with the elderly, which is what I put in here, that you're not allowed to have any work with vulnerable persons, any elderly people. So you want to be terminated early. Why should I do that?
Because, I mean, yes, I understand what I did was wrong. But I've never violated probation. I've never failed a drug test. I hold a steady job. And it's not even in the medical field anymore. I've been doing good. I know what I just want to put this past me and then just, move forward with myself, better myself for my kids and myself.
Kids or baby goats? I wish people would stop
My
using.
children.
Thank you. I wish people would stop using the word kids for children. The complainant wants to move forward too, but you know why the complainant can't really move forward? They don't have their engagement ring. So where's their engagement ring?
I'm not sure.
Find their engagement ring, and then maybe I'll consider early termination.
It was, I don't know what they said, what happened with it, but I know it was, from my understanding, it was in a pawn shop or something.
Well, this is an engagement ring that you're responsible for. So what do you mean? You're saying you're understanding that it was pawned in the pawn shop. You're acting like some phantom did that. Who pawned it in the pawn shop?
Myself.
All right, so where is their engagement ring? They want their engagement ring. You're before me saying you want your probation terminated early because you're ready to move on with your life. She wants her engagement ring. And since this is an elderly person, that means that engagement ring, they probably had it since who knows where, how long. And that engagement ring cost that person $15,000. And how much did you pawn it for?
I don't even remember. It's been a few years now.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. You commit a crime. And for you, it's like, I'm done. I don't even remember.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I'm not giving you early termination. You're going to do every bit of the 8 years that you're on for this probation. And you need to sit and think about the engagement ring that you stole from an elderly person when they allowed you into their home to take care of them, and you went and pawned it. And you're walking around enjoying your best life, wearing eyelashes that are too long. I don't know why people are doing that. I think that's a new style or something. But no. So you are not going to be off of probation early. So probation, please tell probation officers to quit submitting me documentation asking for her to be taken off early. I'll only truly consider taking you off probation early if you return her $15,000 engagement ring that you took to some pawn shop and they probably gave you maybe $200 for it. She wants her engagement ring back, and you should want her to have it back. And until you internalize what you did to her, an elderly person allowing you into their home to work and you stealing their engagement ring, you have learned nothing on probation. That's all. The answer is no.
Judge, may I approach you?
Yes. And where's Mr. Cantu? All right, and what is up with today with people coming in dressed inappropriately, wearing shirts open almost to the navel like this is the 70s? Would you tell the person in the cowboy shirt to please button up his shirt? Nobody needs to see that. All right, so we're here for All right, Christian Segovia. Okay. All right, so before we go on the record, Ms. Christian?
Yeah, it's okay, Judge. I'm okay with the aggravated robbery. I
All right.
think I got thrown off looking at information in the PSI.
All right. All right, we're back on the record in 2023 CR 0292. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes.
Any objections to the PSI report, State?
No, ma'am.
Defense?
No, ma'am.
All right, any witnesses, State?
No, ma'am.
Defense, any witnesses?
No, Judge, I would like to just point out a couple of things for the court. I know the court reads these very carefully, but I would like to bring to the court's attention that Mr. Segovia really doesn't seem to have any drug or alcohol issues, that he acknowledged his guilt. He was very forthcoming in the PSI. You will take note that he was the one that did not have the knife. He was actually with someone that produced a knife, and it was the other person's idea. And we understand the law of parties, but Mr. Segovia is just asking the court to go ahead and follow the plea bargain that we have with the state of Texas.
All right, and there's a restitution amount of $849.99.
There is that amount, Judge, yes.
Any objections?
It was my understanding that they had gotten the phone back, but I might be mistaken about that, and maybe if we could have a hearing on that if necessary.
All right, Counsel, I'm going to order that because I'm reading the PSI report and there's no information in the PSI report or in the stipulations that the phone was returned. And I see as a part of your plea bargain agreement, it states the restitution amount of $849.99. That was what you all agreed on in the plea bargain agreement.
That's fine, Judge.
Okay. All right, anything you wish to say? Do you have children?
A little boy on the way.
How are you going to support yourself?
I'll work. I have a really good paying job.
Okay, you're going to have to speak up. I can't hear you.
I have a really good paying job. I work.
Who are you going to be living with?
My girlfriend and her grandma.
I don't understand why grandmothers allow their grandchildren, which means if her granddaughter is staying there, that means that her mother's not in the picture. I'm not going to allow you to live with this grandmother.
Her mother's in jail. Like, her mom was never there.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. There's a cycle that's going on here where you have grandparents who are raising children, and then those children are bringing boyfriends into the home, having children with them, and now the grandparent not only is raising their grandchild, but they end up raising the great-grandchild. It's like the grandparent is not supposed to be the person who's taking care of grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and we all know that's what's going to end up happening.
She's not taking care of me, and I pay bills there. I stayed there for like a couple of months already.
Mm-hmm.
Judge, if I may,
yes.
Mr. Segovia has had kind of a difficult upbringing, and I think that was touched upon in the PSI. He was raised by grandparents. He hasn't really had much contact. He has no contact with the mother. He's had limited contact with the father. While he's been in jail, really the only support system he has had is this girlfriend, and the only stable place that they have to live is with the grandmother, and that has provided some stability to them. He has been contributing to the bills and been paying when he was out, and he actually was pretty consistent in getting a job. He had a job at a fast food restaurant, and then somebody told him that he could make more money in construction, so he went and had a job there. So he's worked very consistently. He's indicated that he would like to get his GED to improve his position, but I really do think it would be detrimental to Mr. Segovia if this stable living place where he's been living would be taken away. And I can understand if the court maybe wants to attempt some kind of a transition period for Mr. Segovia and his girlfriend and their child to be independent, and perhaps with the help of probation, they can do that. But I think at this moment in time, in putting him on a long-term deferred, that it would probably be very detrimental to him to take away a stable living situation.
All right. With regard to this cell phone, it appears that the cell phone, I guess, was paid by Angie Camacho. So I'm just going to do restitution of $849.99 to Angie Camacho Alan Hernandez, because I don't know which one paid for the
That's
phone.
fine.
In count 1, count 2, and count 3, those counts will run concurrently. The court will sentence you to 10 years deferred adjudication. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, proof of employment within 15 days, no employment as a home health care provider with minors, 120 hours community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes with Triple P. Once that's completed, the community service hours will be deemed to be satisfied. You're going to either get a GED or some sort of trades certificate for a trade school, $1,000 fine, probated. With regards to restitution to Jathlyn, Jathyn Cantu, the court does not have any documentation as to what that restitution is, so the court is not ordering restitution to that person. It's agreed that you plead as a party with Joe Vitala. There's to be no contact with Damian Ortiz, Ortiz, Alan Hernandez, and Jathan, Jathyn Cantu. I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month until further notice. What is his grandmother's name? You don't know the name of the person you're living with? How can you not know the name, counsel? How can you not know the name of the person he's living with?
What's your girlfriend's name, Mr. Segovia? What's her last name?
Martinez.
Absidy Martinez.
So what's the grandmother's name?
I don't really deal with it like that. I mean, I live there, but I work all the time.
How can people not know who they're living with, counsel?
I don't know if it's listed in the PSI. I think it's just listed as the girlfriend's grandmother.
This is how people end up in trouble. You're staying with people, you don't even know their names, and you're acting as though you and this girlfriend are going to be together for the rest of your life, and you don't even know her grandmother's name, and you're staying in the grandmother's house. All right, probation. He's not. What's your girlfriend's full name? Ashley what?
Absidy Martinez.
Absidy Martinez. Okay. The defendant is not allowed to reside with Absidy Martinez or her grandmother until he provides the full name of the grandmother. People need to know who they're living with. So there's to be no contact with Absidy, and I'm assuming that's ABCEDE.
I think it's ABCDE.
ABCITY.
Sorry,
Oh, Absidy. ABCITY?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So there's to be no contact with Absidy. You know, I represented a child once on CPS side, and their name was Absidy, and it was ABCDE, which makes it easy for a child to spell their name in school because it's the first letters of the alphabet. But so there's to be no contact with Absidy, ABCITY. Last name, counsel?
Martinez.
Or Absidy Martinez's grandmother until defendant provides full name of the grandmother. Defendant is to provide address within 7 days of release from custody. I'm going to want regular UAs. There's no request for TAP evaluation. Probation, is there anything else that's needed?
His TAP evaluation was complete.
Okay. It just says weekly UAs.
Yes, Your Honor. The only other thing I was going to ask for his community service hours and getting waived anything for his PT or trade school certification.
No. The community service hours will be waived once he completes parenting classes, but the GED and trade school, he's just going to have to get that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? You need to speak up. All right, because this is plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, and counsel, in each count, there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor.
All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 2234W, State of Texas versus Camilo Richard Rodriguez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Travis Banks for the state of Texas.
Defense?
Rick Crow on behalf of the defendant.
Are you Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision, and state's motion to supplement motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Camilo Richard Rodriguez who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2022 CR 2234W for the offense of violating a bond or protective order assault on March 7, 2022 for a period of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Violated condition number 2 on or about the 19th day of September 2022 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Camilo Richard Rodriguez, defendant there failed to submit to drug testing as directed by the court officer, supervision officer, and/or a duly authorized agent of the court in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
And the state will waive and abandon the further allegations.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
All right, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 2, court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? You need to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 2? Court will find violation of condition number 2 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement and the state's recommendation, should the court choose to follow it, is to deny the motion and to alter and amend the conditions to add a drug patch, refer the defendant to felony drug court. The defendant should also show proof of employment and residence, and there would be zero tolerance on any further violations going forward.
Defense, is that the agreement?
That is the agreement.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Camilo Richard Rodriguez.
Do you have employment?
Yes, ma'am.
Why haven't you turned over that information to probation?
I have. I believe that I turned it in late, but I've been employed for a year, almost on May the 19th. And I have I provided the address since we just moved locations, and I provided check stubs, and I can do it today as well with any kind of proof that you need.
All right, they're saying they don't have your residence. Have you provided them where you live?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the other thing is, why won't you stop using marijuana?
It helps me a lot with the anxiety and depression and PTSD, partially from an accident that I had in a relation. And it was something that I was depending on for a while, but I realized now that it's not important in my life. I have a baby boy on the way that's due on October 20th.
I mean, you should have realized that before. You're looking at 10 years in prison.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I realized that was a huge mistake, and I solemnly swear not to continue that with those habits and to move forward with that completely out of my life and fight for my freedom and so I can see my baby boy and be there for my now pregnant girlfriend, who I hope to be my wife soon, and continue to be there for my family who needs me very much.
Does your pregnant wife, girlfriend know that you're on deferred adjudication for violation of bond or protective order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. All right, this is what the court will do. Deny the motion, alter and amend conditions to include a referral to felony drug court, a TAP evaluation if that's needed. If he's not accepted to felony drug court, follow the recommendations of TAP evaluation. He's going to provide proof of employment and residence. I'm going to want the field visits 1 time per month until further notice. I'm going to want parenting classes. And Mr. Rodriguez, probation here in this court is very serious. You're going into custody today. He's going to have his felony drug court evaluation and TAP evaluation while in custody. Once that's completed, he'll be released. Is there anything else?
I think that should stay here.
All right, thank you. You need to do better. And from here on out, you say that we're off the record, you say that you want to be in your child life, then guess what? From here on out, everything that you do, you need to ask yourself, is this something that could result in me going to prison for 10 years? And if the answer to that question is yes, then you shouldn't do it. If the answer to that question is maybe, then you shouldn't do it. I always tell everybody in this court that communication is key. If there's an issue with probation and they don't solve your issue, come to the court. I tell everybody that. We're here from Monday to Friday. The fact that you're out here just living your best life, violating conditions of probation, I don't allow that, especially when communication is key in this court. All you had to do was call probation and say, this is why I'm using marijuana. Can you give me some mental health treatment? Court would have done that. And if probation wouldn't have responded to that, I would have done that. You would have come to court. I would have asked Ms. Abrams, can we have his probation officer zoom into court so we can take care of this? You just can't be on probation out of this court and not follow the rules, because then you're not on probation. You just have a piece of paper and you're doing whatever you want to do. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
is it possible that he can have a little bit of time to get his affairs in order to?
No,
No.
because he could be going to prison right now. All right, the court is calling Christian. All right, we can go off the record. How old are you?
28.
All right, you're 28 years old. You're not a teenager. When someone says they don't want you anymore and they don't love you, move on. Because how long did you know her? How many years?
I've known her for over 20 years.
How long have you been in a relationship with her?
It was about 6 months.
All right. You've only known somebody for 6 months and you do this. You're going to have to make better decisions. If somebody doesn't want you, that's the end of it. Move on. You can't make somebody love you. All right? Good luck to you. And by the way, did that neck tattoo hurt?
It kind of sort of did. I did it myself, honestly. And I did it more or less. It was anxiety stress relief.
Okay, you did a neck tattoo on yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you get the lettering not to be backwards? How were you able to do that?
I put a stencil on a piece of paper and I put it on there, and then I did it with 2 mirrors.
Oh, okay. And what's the saying on your form?
It says, who are you to judge?
Oh, the judge.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Everybody gets only God can judge me. I went with the Bob Marley saying there.
Okay, no. I've heard that. I've heard his song. Awesome. Are you going to get any more tattoos?
I'm pretty much filled up as it is. I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's one of my professions. So.
Okay. All right, go forth. And when people want to end a relationship, just move on. All right, have a good one.
Thank you.